Hey, welcome back, high school hockey fans. We are back at it again this year. This is This Week in Wisconsin Prep Hockey. I'm Mike Hammett, along with Bill Sr., Bill Jr., Del Scanlon. As you can see, all our beautiful faces on your monitor. Guys, great to see you all again. And season's just getting started. Kind of going to be an interesting year, I think. Just a lot of changes in coaching and the state tournament stuff, and it's just going to be a season that's just going to bear watching.
Yeah, a lot of teams got an early jump on the season. It seems we have more games played already than we normally do at this time of year. A lot of the tournaments that start the season are the same. Like over in Eau Claire, it was Eau Claire, Memorial, Notre Dame, Superior, and Wausau West. Notre Dame kind of dominated that tournament. I think they're trying to send a message down the highway towards Hudson that they're going to have a challenge this year. Notre Dame did really well, spanked both teams in that tournament. There are some other surprises. Other teams have a lot of games in. Monroe is 3-0 to start the season. I don't know who saw that coming, but
break up the cheesemakers.
They do have the best team name in the state, though.
That is true.
Well, Ashwaubenon and Bayport are both 3-0. That won't last too long. They do play in the same conference, so they'll have to see each other eventually. But yeah.
On the girls' side, sorry about that, MJ. On the girls' side, we don't no longer have the Onalaska Hilltoppers. We've had a name change. They're now the Cooling Region Cyclone. But then, when you start looking at what's been played so far in the Eastern Shore, a lot of non-conference games, you end up with 4 teams with a 3-0 or 4-0 record to start off the season. And then you got Central Wisconsin Storm and Superior both starting out 2-0. The Storm's first 2 games was their Gobbler Cup up there in Mosinee right after Thanksgiving. Bay Area is starting off strong, and so is Fox Cities. So, that Eastern Shore Conference is going to be fun to watch throughout the season to see how that conference beats up on each other to come out of there.
Yeah, that's going to be a good conference to watch, Del. Those teams, like you said, are going to probably beat up on each other. So, long ways to go, though, guys. I mean, teams may start out 2-0, 3-0, but 2 weeks from now, things could change big time for them. So, good start for some teams. For some teams, kind of a little bit of a slow start, and we'll just keep an eye on things this year during the season, and we'll talk about it right here on Wisconsin Prep Hockey.
They haven't actually played a game yet, but one team worth noting is Spooner. Spooner is back after a lengthy absence from having their own team. I think Spooner had been a member in the Northwest Iceman Co-op for a number of years, and different configurations of co-ops before that, but it's been since before we moved to the Sports Engine platform that Spooner had their own team. But welcome back, Spooner Rails. We'll have to catch them at some point this season. Let them know we're paying attention.
Are they going to be an independent?
They are an independent.
Well, I'll keep an eye on them because they're second weekend of the month. I'm always headed up to the Chetek area, so that's one reason I'll be headed up there on that way December 10th in that area. But yeah, it should be an interesting season to see how things play out. which is always the fun part. You sit there and you see everybody's starting out fast, and then of course you get on the boys' side, you get some of those players, that are playing hockey now, may have been on a football team that went deep into the playoffs and just now starting to get into hockey shape.
Oh, and the other thing about I looked it up before and have forgotten because my mind is old and feeble. But Spooner coming in as a Division II team means that somebody else got bumped up to Division I that was Division II last year. I think that may have even been Marshfield.
Yes. We looked that back up in the spring or summer whenever they told us they were coming back, and
Yeah.
we looked at the WIA's list and Marshfield had been bumped up.
So I guess my mind isn't quite as feeble as I was suspecting. And the other thing to note is that Antigo has a new coach. They've already played 4 games. They have a new coach, which means I don't get to pick on Matt Borneman anymore. That makes me sad. I mean, I suppose I could still pick on him, but since he's not a coach, I have to go out of my way to find reasons to pick on him, which I'll try to do by next week.
The more notable thing there is that Anago actually had the numbers to field a team this season, because that was a pretty open question at the end of the year last year. They were getting pretty thin. They made a pretty good playoff run with a bench of like 9 guys total.
Well, one thing before we get too deep in, on the girls' side, one of the nice surprises for me this year was seeing Medford winning their opening game of the season. And it was one that I was searching around for the score. I've actually put a comment out on Facebook and found out that our favorite referee had officiated the game, and her mom sent me the score of the game. So we were able to at least get the quick score into that one. And sounds like Medford goalie plays for Team Wisconsin. So it'll kind of be interesting to see how many games that they're into this year.
Well, should we move on to our players of the week? Burglar, would you like to do the honors for the first week of the season?
Yeah, usually we don't even have that many games in by the time we do this first one, but like we said earlier, they got a good start, and we've got a couple of teams that are, played 4 games already. So we do have on the boys' side our Radisson Madison players of the week on the boys' side from Ashwaubenon, a goaltender, Lincoln Simons, started the season with 3 games and 3 shutouts. He had 16 saves in a 4-0 win over Sheboygan, 18 saves in a 4-0 win over Whitefish Bay, Nicolay Shorewood, and they pulled him after 2 periods with he already had 9 saves in the first 2 periods and a 9-0 win over Oshkosh, and they put his backup in. So that's 43 saves, 43 shots, 43 saves for Lincoln Simons of Ashwaubenon. One of the reasons that Ashwaubenon started the season 3-0. And kind of on a similar note, Ella Skaborski, goaltender of Fox Cities, started the season with 3 shutouts also. 11 saves on Friday in an 8-0 win over the Northern Edge. Only 4 saves and an 8-0 win over the Icebergs, but then 31 saves in a 1-0 win over the Warbirds. That one, the Fox Cities was actually outshot 31-20 something in that one, but got the only goal. 3 shutouts, 3 games for Ellis Skaborski, our Radisson Madison girls player of the week.
Yeah, last year, boys player of the week, Lincoln Simons, was 18-5 with a .933 save percentage and 1.56 goals against average. 7 shutouts. That's averaging about 30 saves per game. So that's pretty good work. And Skaborski last year was 18-3 with a 920 save percentage and 1.43 goals against average. Again, 7 shutouts. Her shot total was a little lower, probably closer to about 20 per game rather than 30, but still, they both came off really good junior seasons. And now as seniors, they're both picking up player of the week the first week of the year.
So both those goalies off to very impressive starts early here in the season. As first week was very good to them as they posted some shutouts, and that goals against average is a 0 at this point. Well, our top 6 is coming up, and Bill Jr., give us the update on the top 6s.
As with past seasons, none of us has the drive to do a preseason poll. Trasher kind of always just did that in the past, and none of us wants to. So we didn't, as we didn't last year or the year before, so the first top 6 will come out December 12th. By then, every team's probably going to have 5 to 6 games in, around thereabouts, and it'll give us a better idea of where everybody's going to be. Coaches will have seen more teams. We'll send the email out to the coaches as normal, get all the votes from the coaches and our staff, and we'll have the first one for the podcast on December 12th. So one more show without a top 6, and then we'll have the rankings.
Now, some teams haven't even played yet.
Right. That's
So-
why, we usually wait a couple weeks in. Not as long as the computers wait. The computers wait until almost Christmas, but
I mean, you could go ahead, you could have went ahead and done one, but you could have done one off of paper of, who's returning players and stuff like that. But you know what? I like the idea of going a couple weeks first before we put one of those out. Makes us look a little bit more smarter than what we really are.
saying
Our
things
upcoming
like more
games-
smarter definitely helps.
Our upcoming games of the week. Thursday, Lakeland and Mosinee going to get together. Those two teams split last year, but it was Lakeland who won the big one, sectional final. It's going to be a rematch. That'll be on Thursday night. We'll be covering that one. And on Saturday, the USM girls will be taking on the Cooley Region Cyclones. And how long will it be until we start just calling them the Clones?
I'll probably never call them that.
I probably won't either.
I will say now, this is, I believe, the first, we talked about it, I have kids that are old enough to have, activities and stuff now. This will be the first game of the week. I explicitly had to miss. Burglar will be going without me because I have other hockey commitments. I got to go coach Mike practice Thursday night at 6:00. So,
Oh, I bet that's fun to watch you coaching these kids.
I mean, we generally have 6 to 8 coaches on the ice spread out through 6 stations with all 6 of our Mite teams on the ice. So,
Oof.
you
know, it's-
we pretty strictly follow the USA Hockey ADM.
It's always funny how these kids just can't wait to get out on the ice, and then when practice is over, they can't wait to get off the ice.
I will say that today I got an email that the white blue level, the Mite blue level, the lowest level Mites, that's the coach I'm teaching. That's the team I'm coaching, mainly 6-year-olds. One of my players has already been stolen up to the white level, which is mainly 7-year-olds. So I already lost one of my players, but we don't keep score at this age anyway. So
Oh,
I
yeah.
have-
we had our first games this weekend, and my kids tell me we went 5-0, but we don't keep score. So
Well, hang on a second, guys. As you can tell, I'm being paged here.
Well, I see, kind of looking at what's going on tonight, Cooley Region Cyclone are playing Winona. They're leading 3-0 in that game, and then as I said earlier, Edgewood is playing, and they were up 2-0 in their game so far this evening. But it's kind of nice to be looking forward to seeing some of these teams play, and even in watching the score come across online where for the teams that do keep score as the game's going on.
What is the deal with the Monday games? I
Well,
mean,
it
there's only
seems
two
that we
boys
haven't
games
played
and one
this
girls
year.
game, but like it was a girls thing for a while that there was Monday games, and then a couple of the boys teams started picking it up, and now pretty consistently throughout the season we have Monday games, and I gotta say I don't like it.
Well, I think part of it's always ice time.
Yeah.
You know, where
I can tell you that with Milton, that a lot of that is just ice time. I mean, they have to share the rink with Stoughton. Stoughton has their youth hockey team, so whenever you can get ice, you can get a high school game in for Milton. But it's kind of the way I'm leaning on that.
There was a short stretch back in the day, when Anago was still and Pete Susan was the coach of Wausau West, and Anago was still part of the Wisconsin Valley Conference then, and they experimented for a season moving their Tuesday conference games to Monday, because basketball plays on Tuesday and Friday, so they were doing their hockey games on Monday and Thursday. So you don't have like the student body divided between, whether they're going to go to basketball or go to hockey. So they had them on separate nights, but nobody, one season, nobody liked Monday night hockey.
no, you're trying to keep up with what the officials throughout the WIA a little bit more. Do you think short number of officials has something to do with it?
Well, if you're short on officials, having hockey on more days helps. So it could have something to do with it. If you can't find an official for a Tuesday night because they're all booked up, and you move your game to Monday, then the officials are free. That could be a reason to do it. Eventually we might even see games on Wednesdays. I mean, there's one here and there, but
Not many. Well, I remember a couple of years ago when we had weather situations and they were all scrambling near the end of the season to hurry up and make those games up. We had some Wednesday games.
I mean, Wednesday games generally only happen that holiday week.
Yeah,
the week between Christmas and New Year's.
but that year when we had all the weather problems and teams were trying to make them up, I mean, then you got to make a deal with youth hockey one way or another to get that ice. But anyway, since everybody seems to have a take on that and everybody's done with it, let's go to final thoughts and a little bit of a roundtable here. And I know what the people who follow this podcast are wondering. What's your guys' thoughts on the state tournament moving? Well, I was surprised the place they picked. Smaller venue, much smaller venue, but it's going to make for a full house. I get that. I guess it's just a wait and see approach. Honestly, at first, I just kind of scratched my head over the whole thing.
Well, we've talked about this before. We've said that LeBon's too small at 2,000 seats. I think the math bears that out. If you look at the attendance for the state tournament by session, the math bears that out, and Cap Ice is smaller than that. Yet, what is it, 1,500? I think they said something like that. 2,000, somewhere in that neighborhood. Like we've said for years, there's 4 places in the state that are actually large enough to accommodate the state tournament as we would like to see it accommodated. There's the Alliant Energy Center, there's UW Panther Arena, there's the Cole Center, and there's the Resch Center. 2 of those 4 places, regardless of anything else, can't guarantee the ice time. That's the Cole Center and the Resch Center. The Alliant Energy Center is the place we were trying to leave, and UW Panther Arena is essentially the same as the Alliant Energy Center. It's a little smaller, but it's just as old. So I don't know that that would have made people happy. It's been renovated more recently. Obviously, the Admirals are playing there now. It's being used constantly. I don't know what their availability situation is like. So when you're in that position with those 4 arenas, and one choice is to just keep sticking with doing what you're doing, one choice isn't necessarily any better, and the other 2 can't guarantee you ice time, you're left with the choice of moving to one of the many local arenas around the state, and that's what they picked. And it seems like, well, they picked one that's still in Madison, because, you know, whether they're being honest about it when they say it over the years, the WIA seems to think that Madison is a very important aspect of the state tournament. You know, we've heard both. I haven't heard LeVar say it, but Tom Shafransky said many times that the kids going to Madison was a very important aspect of it for them. I don't think Madison's that important, but that's just me. So
I think it's just
they're not, like, nobody wanted to go back to the Alliant Energy Center. The coaches didn't like the ice. The fans didn't like the seats. Most people didn't like how cavernously empty it was, because, I mean, it was what? It's a 12,000 seat arena. That's more than we need. You know, on our best sessions, we're not going to sell 12,000 seats worth of arena. So, I mean, there was a lot not to like about it. This seems like a huge swing in the other direction. The atmosphere should be good. Like you said, MJ, it should be full. You know, a couple of those sessions, maybe not, but, you know, I saw a bunch of people online on the announcement, like, talking about, you know, D2 and girls should play in, you know, somewhere else if they can't fill the seats. That's not the problem. D2 draws better than D1 does most of the time. Because, like, we saw Rice Lake down there, they brought the whole damn town. You know, everybody from Minocqua was there when Lakeland made it. You know, they brought the whole town. So D2 draws just fine. D1 draws fine, except that, you know, generally speaking, there's going to be 1 or 2 private schools there every year, which don't have a large student body. So they don't have, you know, a big fan base. But even then, 2,000 seat arena, the atmosphere should be great. Media coverage is going to be interesting. I don't know what that's like at Cap Ice. I don't know that I've ever been to Cap Ice. I played a tournament or 2.
Renovated it.
I played a tournament or 2 in youth hockey in Madison, but I couldn't tell you which arena they were at. That was literally decades ago. And I don't remember which Madison, Middleton, whoever was even the host. So I couldn't tell you if I've ever been there. So
let me ask.
I have very little expectation of, you know, like, I know it's not Anago's rink, but I don't know what I'm going to be walking into. Like, we're going to have to make a trip down there.
Well, I think the thing Tom Shafransky preached about was, I think it was just tradition. I mean, going to state meant you were going to Madison. You were going to go play in the Coliseum. But, you know, as we've seen over the years, that's just kind of went by the wayside, the way the facility is, and the way the ice is, you know, all so many things put into it. Now, my question is, with this move to Middleton, to Cap Ice, how long is this deal for?
2 years.
I believe it said 2 years on the release.
So we may be facing this again in 2 years.
This question will likely be facing it again in 2 years.
Well, hopefully they'll be working on it during that time, but
Right.
yeah, it's 2 years. You never played at Capital Ice. The tournaments you were at down there were at the MIM Madison.
That's nice.
I know, because I was there too. But no, I mean, Capital Ice. I didn't like the Alliant Energy Center, but it could fit everybody that wanted to go to the game. If if they sell tickets in sessions, as they have in the past, a 2-game session, you're not going to get, everybody who wants to go to a game is not going to be able to get in. I mean, there are sessions every tournament that have, 4,500 people. When, especially, when it's, not the private school ones. The biggest difference between the private schools and the public schools, I have to disagree with it. It's not so much the student body size, it's the community aspect of it. Like everybody from Rice Lake was there, everybody from Lakeland was there, not just people that had kids on the team or their students, but the whole, like Bill said, the whole damn town came down, because that's you have the following. Notre Dame doesn't have the following of all of Green Bay is not going to come there because Notre Dame's there. A good portion of Eau Claire will come down when the old Abes are there, or a big contingent from Superior comes down every time they are there. The private schools don't draw that, but I mean, especially if a team hadn't been there in a while, and a local, a community, they're going to get a lot of people. And if they're going to sell 2-game session, or Rock County Fury, first time they were there, 5 bands. If they'd had 5 bands, there wouldn't have been anybody else at Cap Ice. Nobody else is even going to be in the arena. 5 bands is going to fill it just by themselves, and that's it. You're not going to see anything like that again. Not there. I don't know.
But you're right, though. I mean, the people that are going to want to see their teams, I mean, they may not be able to do it because there may just be people there that are just regular hockey fans and want to see both games, and they buy that session ticket. And the fan that wants to go and see their kid play or their brother play or cousin or whatever, they just might be out of luck.
Yeah, I mean, if the tickets are by session, I'm looking at the press release. It says 2611 as far as spectators go. If they're by session, they will run out of tickets for probably 4 out of the 5 sessions, maybe 5 out of 5. They will run out of tickets. If they're by game, 2611 probably works. I don't know. I mean, does the WIAA and the arena staff have the capability of clearing out the arena? Trying to fit 4 games in one day, clearing out the arena between them all? I mean, there's going to be some time gains in there because there's 2 sheets of ice. So I assume they're going to warm up on the other sheet like they used to do at the Alliant Energy Center when they had the other sheet next door. They used to warm up on the other ice and then come out to the game on fresh ice and not have to do warm-ups and stuff. But I mean, there's logistical things that need to be answered, but I don't know. I still think that what needs to happen is UW Stevens Point needs some wealthy benefactor. Like when Penn State joined hockey a few years ago, it's because one of their alumni gave them $60 million. Some UW Stevens Point graduate needs to give them $30 million to upgrade their hockey program and build just a wonderful 7,500 seat arena right in the middle of the state that's open the first weekend of March.
One of the other things that's going to be interesting at Capital Ice is parking. The parking at Capital Ice is not. You go there for hockey game, for a kids hockey game, and the parking is not great. And you start talking a state tournament game. I've been there where I've played the sectional championship game, and that sectional championship game, I trying to take photographs. Forget it. I had no place to be to take photographs. And now, it's granted, it's been remodeled. When I was there before doing it, I actually was up in the mezzanine area trying to take pictures through the glass up there down to the ice because I had no other place to go. But I'll have to get there during the regular season for a team playing there, see what it looks like and see how things are since it's been remodeled.
And it's worth noting that, like, we all have concerns with this. Nobody's trying to put on a bad state tournament. You read some of the comments when stories about this kind of stuff get posted. Like, it took 45 minutes before I had to lock the comments on this story on our Facebook page last spring when it announced. Nobody's trying to make a bad state tournament. The Wisconsin Hockey Coaches Association and the WIAA and the Wisconsin Girls Hockey Coaches Association and the ownership of Cap Ice, they all agreed on this. And to some extent, they all know what they're doing. They all have, a different agenda for what they're trying to accomplish, but they want to put on a good tournament. They don't want this to just be a horrible experience, because that doesn't reflect good on anybody or any of them. They're trying to do right. So, I'm not thrilled with this direction, but I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. We'll see how it goes. If this year is a disaster, then I hope, when next year's tournament rolls around, we're not looking at an extension. But, on the other hand, this year might go swimmingly. The WIA might sell single game tickets instead of sessions. The crowd sizes might then be manageable. People will be able to get in and see their teams play, and it'll all go great. Maybe a new parking ramp will be erected in time for people to park at the arena.
Well, the other thing is Badgers women's hockey has played games at this arena. So they've had, NCAA games there. They played against, I want to say, the development team there and stuff. So, I mean, they've had big games in that area.
Well, I say at 2611, it's got a higher seating capacity than LeBron does.
Yeah, I mean, nobody's questioning the quality of the ice or the facilities. It is strictly a matter of seating capacity. In my mind, I think people are going to be turned away.
What do you do if all of a sudden you're drawing people, you're getting sellouts? What about the rest of the people? How do they watch? Do you put it online?
I mean, they've been putting it online, but it's locked behind a paywall and it doesn't always work very well.
Yeah.
It's been online for a while, MJ.
All right. It's just gonna, like you said, Junior, there's just gonna be a lot of questions about some things, and
we are gonna bring in people behind the scenes that made that decision and have them explain to us how it came about and why and how it's going to work, and everybody's going to be happy.
Okay.
Maybe as soon as next week.
You guys seem to have those connections of people who like to come on and visit us.
Yeah, I mean, my big concerns, like Burglar said, are capacity. And my other one is, as far as the video broadcast goes, where do the cameras go? Because I haven't been to Cap Ice, but I'm looking at the picture that came with the press release, and those seats don't go back far enough for a camera to have a good view of the ice. For those games that are broadcast on the statewide TV network, the championship games, and then the streamed games the rest of the time. Like, I don't know where the cameras go. There's going to be a lot of glass in those shots.
I think they're just going to use the live barn feed.
That could be. Hey, the one thing that is a positive about this, you will not be paying, or you shouldn't be paying, a parking fee at Cap Ice. I don't know if that'll change or not, but every time you go to the Coliseum, what, $6-7 to go and park?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, there's a lot of questions that remain unanswered that'll get, some of them might not even be sorted out yet.
Okay. Well, guys, anything else you want to touch on? Silence is deafening. Ready to close it out, boys, and call it a night?
Yes, sir.
Okay. For Junior, Bill Senior, Delmar, I'm Mike Hammett. Next week, we'll try to do better. Join us next week for This Week in Wisconsin Prep Hockey.